Greetings. Today, the moon continues in Taurus, that practical earth sign. So, attending to the needs of body, mind, soul, spirit. What do you need to attend to for yourself to slow down and receive? I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Friday, July 10th. But that Taurus moon is not all that is happening on this day. So, but to start with, the moon stays in Taurus until it goes into Gemini about 3:41 p.m. Pacific time. And that Taurus moon time is, as always, a great time to slow down, to focus on being rather than doing, to receive and to take things in through your senses. So we are so mental as human beings, right? We focus on the information that's coming to us through language and verbally and information data, right? But think about how animals receive information and data through their senses, through smell. Primarily, I'm thinking about, dogs and other animals really just have that sense of smell that it gives them the information they need about the world around them. But it may not be, it's all the senses, right? It's vision, it's taste, it's touch and physical sensation, tactile, color, right? There's all different ways that we can learn about the world around us. So the Taurus moon is the time to focus on your senses, what you are learning about the world around you through your senses, and of course, how you take in and receive the good things that are around you. So the gifts and the beauty and the things that bring pleasure into our lives. So that is continuing until the moon goes into Gemini at 3:41 p.m. Pacific time. And when that happens, we shift into mental. Okay, so the Gemini air sign, not only is Gemini an air sign focusing on communication, thinking, ideas, how we process language and verbally, but we of course also have Uranus in Gemini, so the moon will join that shake-up planet of unpredictable developments. But not only that, we also have Mars in Gemini, just past its conjunction with Uranus. So they are still in an active conjunction. We are still continuing to experience the energy of surprising shifts in information and learning things in sort of sudden and unpredictable ways. So that's continuing. And as the moon goes into Gemini, it activates both Uranus and Mars and that conjunction. How things are, the pressure is coming out, things are shifting through the cracks in the tectonic plates. And as things shift and information comes out, or we learn new things, or things change in very sudden, unexpected ways that are hard to control, that moon activates both of those planets and the conjunction. And because those two planets are about 4 degrees apart, the moon's conjunction activation of this particular energy, this configuration, lasts extra long. So it lasts like from late Friday afternoon into well into the day on Saturday, because it enters Gemini, and then it forms a conjunction with Uranus, and then it forms a conjunction with Mars at 8. So Uranus is at 4 degrees Gemini, Mars is at 8 degrees Gemini. It takes the moon gets, it changes, but roughly it gets about a degree in a couple of hours. So that gives you an idea of how long this activation lasts. And what does this activation bring? Well, it further activates the release of pressure related to information, ideas, communication, new information, new facts, right? Things coming to the surface or emerging through those cracks in the facade, right? So we have that surface of how we operate, and then there's a whole lot going on below that surface that we don't often have words for, or maybe we're kind of aware it's there, but we kind of, what's the word? We gloss over, right? A lot of those things that are happening below the surface because we have to function. But in society, when we operate in this place of, it could show up as denial. It could show up as, we're going to be nice. We're going to take the nice route and talk about things that are comfortable, right? It can take those kinds of directions. And this is the kind of energy alignment, planetary alignment, moon activation that can create cracks in that facade and allow us to not only allow us, but make sure that we can no longer gloss over maybe what we're pretending or in denial about or not wanting to confront. So that is what is happening Friday night into Saturday morning, Saturday day. And it's just a reminder that you don't know what you don't know. And so the best way to work with Uranus and Gemini in general, Mars conjunct Uranus, which is beginning to move beyond, but is still very active. And of course, the moon activating Uranus and Gemini. The best way to work with it is to acknowledge what you don't know. The ways that we want to cling to our understanding, our comfort, our old story, those are the kinds of things that are going to become more and more problematic as time goes on. But if we acknowledge the things we don't know, if we acknowledge that we may have the story wrong, or that there might be more to the story, or that there are things that we don't know or don't understand, the more we acknowledge that, the more we are opening ourselves to tapping into what is really the possibility here, which is that we become more intelligent, more knowledgeable, more wise. We shift our consciousness. We have the capacity to understand things at bigger levels and to operate from that bigger picture of understanding. So that is what I will say for today. Stay tuned. We are, of course, also activating with the moon coming to Mars and Uranus, activating that cradle that is coming closer and closer to its most exact on July 19th and 20th. Stay tuned for this week's podcast episode that will be about the Jupiter portion of this cradle and really what it's telling us about how to move forward and how to step into leadership. So don't want to miss that podcast, episode 6, Astrology Heals, coming out on Sunday, July 12th. So watch for that, and thank you for joining me. I am Marina Orms. You can book a reading with me at astrologyheals.com. Thank you for joining me and subscribing to this YouTube channel. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.